Welcome, everybody, to the Insider Perks YouTube channel. My name is Brian Searle, the founder and CEO of Insider Perks, and today we're going to talk about avoiding these RV park advertising mistakes for success. So let's take a look at the ways that people currently do advertising when they don't hire a marketing advertising agency like Insider Perks. And certainly there are many more agencies out there that are very capable of doing this. Just so happens that I'm the one on the YouTube videos, so I get to talk about my name. But avoiding these RV park advertising mistakes for success. Number one is figuring out where you need to advertise at and in what order you need to advertise in. A lot of people will just go to Facebook and boost a post because they heard a lot of people are on Facebook. The same thing with Instagram. Or they'll allow the guy who calls them on the phone randomly from Google to sign them up for an advertising campaign. Or when they claim their Google My Business listing, they'll just go click a button and turn on a Google Ads campaign and completely forget about it. All of those things are going to completely waste money. You have to know what the strategy is behind this. The first thing is to figure out your target audience. Once you figured out your target audience, then you need to make sure that you're reaching that target audience in the appropriate order for maximizing return on investment. So we're looking at a map here of the campground. This is where we are, the United States. This is where we always start. We're going to use our little random US city generator here, and we're going to pick whatever is in this bottom left corner box here, and we're going to hit 5 reruns so you know that this is live and completely unscripted. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Indianapolis, Indiana. We're going to go back to our Google map here, and we're going to look up Indianapolis, Indiana. And for the intents and purposes of this video, we are going to pretend that your campground is in Indianapolis. Wherever your campground is, use the same steps. It works the same way. We're just going to need a city for our example in this video. So our city is Indianapolis. And what we want to do now is, I'm trusting that if you're at this point, right, you're looking to avoid starting RV park advertising, which, let's be clear, is not the same as marketing. Advertising is paid. Marketing is mostly free, except you have to pay an agency sometimes like us. But if you're doing it yourself for those purposes, right? Marketing is free. Marketing is social media, word of mouth, talking about yourself, anything. It costs time, right? But advertising is, the way we define it, is paid Facebook, paid Google Ads, paid billboards, et cetera, right? So if you're at this point, you're ready to spend money on advertising, I am trusting that you do not have a Google Assistant in the background who's going to talk during your video, but that you have already done the basic fundamentals of designing a website. You have the social media presence, all that kind of stuff, and you have identified your target audience. So once you know what your target audience is, we're just going to pick a random campground here near Indianapolis. And we will choose, let's get one with lots. Let's go to Sleepy Bear Campground right here. All right, so Sleepy Bear Campground is our choice. And you can see they're right here outside of Indianapolis. Looks like they're in the northeast a little bit, okay? So if I'm the proprietor of Sleepy Bear Campground and I want to do some RV park advertising, I first need to understand that the people who want to come to my campground are part of my target audience. I've already identified that, and I know if that's Indianapolis Campground, if that's Indianapolis RV Park, if that's something else in the area that's closer to me, whatever it is, I've identified my target audience. Now, of that target audience, how are those people finding a place to go camping, to go to a campground, to an RV park, to glamping, to cabin rentals, to whatever in the area that my target keyword, my target audience is in? The answer for that in 99.9% of cases is Google. They are going to Google and they are typing in the keywords that relate to your target audience. So Indianapolis RV Park, Indianapolis Campground, et cetera, et cetera. As you grow, as you become an established business, some people will start searching for your name because they will be repeat guests. They will have heard of you from friends. But either way, your number one place to advertise is not where people have already heard about you. It's where people have not heard about you. So it's generic search terms like Indianapolis Campground, Indianapolis RV Park, et cetera, in our specific use case. So what we need to do is we need to reach those people. Those people, say it with me, those people are on Google. They're not on Facebook. Like there are people who are on Facebook, of course, who are looking to go camping, and on Instagram and everywhere else. But those people who have an intent to immediately go camping, who are looking for those keywords in search for a service that you provide, are on Google. So, two things here. One, you better be working on SEO, because 70% of people will scroll past the Google ads that I'm about to tell you to run because they think they're being advertised to, and they are. So if you're not working on SEO, you're losing out on 70% of your audience. Make sure you are. There's probably a video that I've done on it, and if I haven't, I'll get to it. Okay, next, advertising. So, avoiding these mistakes. Google ads. First, run your ads here. Why? Because the intent is there. You know, if someone searches for Indianapolis Campground or Indianapolis RV Park, they want exactly what you're looking for, and they want it right now. They want to go to your website. They want to look at prices. They want to look at activities. They want to figure out where they're going to stay. And in many cases, they're going to book relatively quickly after that. That is why you start at Google, and that is why you don't start at Facebook. So, you're on Google, you need to hire somebody to do Google. There are many of these videos where I'll tell you, you can figure it out. Guess. Look at ChatGPT. If you're willing to do the research, do it. That's fine. If you don't have at least 20 hours a week solely to dedicate completely and utterly to Google Ads, you will waste thousands of dollars on Google Ads. You will lose money. You will not be effective. You must, if you are running Google Ads, hire a company to do this. That does not mean you have to hire me. There are plenty of people who will do Google Ads for you and know them relatively well. Find one of them, because if not, you're just throwing money down the drain. There are too many settings, too many options, too many variations, too many choices for you to figure out and to maintain on a day-to-day basis to make sure you're not wasting money in Google. On top of that, Google is just deciding what keywords you can show ads for at some random intervals. That's happening to us agencies too. And so if you're not paying attention to this on a day-to-day basis, you're going to lose money. Okay, advertising mistakes. Don't do it yourself on Google Ads. If by some stretch of the imagination you do decide and you are willing to devote that 20 hours on Google Ads, check in every day. Make sure you're constantly learning more about Google Ads in the process. Make sure you're tracking your conversions. Another advertising mistake, track your conversions. If you have online reservations, if you're using CampSpot or NewBook or Staylist or whatever your reservation system is, make sure that you can track the person all the way to the booking. If you can't, you don't know if they booked. Who cares if they went to your website? All we care about are the people that book. Who cares if you got 200 clicks or 10,000 clicks or a million clicks? If they didn't make a booking, if they didn't put money in your pocket, it doesn't matter. You've got to be able to track that. If you don't know how to track that, you need to learn. Again, tack on, now you're at 25 hours, right? At least, maybe 30 in the beginning. Hire someone who knows how to do it. Agency, brothers, third cousins, best friends, sons, daughter, someone. Figure out how to do it. Because if you don't do it and you can't track it, there's no point in running advertising anywhere. Don't do it. Don't run advertising unless you can track the ROI. Period. End of story. Full stop. Okay? Let's shift to Facebook for some common mistakes, right? So let's say you've maxed out Google because this is your intent. Facebook is brand awareness. Facebook is, surprise, I'm interrupting you with my ad when you didn't want to see it because you were doing something else and looking at your family photos or funny cats or whatever it may be. Same thing with any social media. I'm interrupting someone. You better have something good to say if you're interrupting someone, because you don't like to be interrupted either, unless it's something really cool, right? Like a new pair of shoes you want to see or, right? Something, okay? You got to have something good to say. Once you have something good to say, make sure it looks good. So tell the story. Make sure you're communicating what you have to say. Make sure it's designed really well. Don't just throw something up there. Don't throw up a random photo, whatever else, right? Once you have that done, then you need to make sure your audience is targeted correctly. You can't just boost a post to the people who like your Facebook page and hope it works. You've got to understand what message you're sending, who you want to target. And again, you've got to be able to tell if those people are booking. Like, who cares if you spent $10 or $20 And while you're telling everybody now you got 40,000 likes and 50,000 shares and everybody's liking you and it's being shared all over the world and it went viral, how many people booked? I don't care. How many people booked? This is blunt, right? Period. How many people booked? If you can't track that, you failed. Period. You failed. It doesn't matter. You have to be able to track it. If you go hire an influencer and they come to your park and you give them a free stay or you pay them money, influencer, creator, whatever, right? Then you've got to be able to track their results. You've got to be able to give them a link for their website and track everything. Track everything. This is number one, right? RV park advertising mistakes. You've got to be able to track Facebook and track Google and track influencers and track everything that's happening everywhere. And if you don't, you're wasting money. So Google, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you're advertising, this is all the same principle. If you're advertising offline, you're putting up a billboard, use a call tracking number. If you're putting an ad in Good Sam, use a call tracking number, use a QR code that you can track. If you're putting an ad in your association's campground guide, those work, right? Sure. They go to the RV shows, they hand them out. Track them. There's nothing wrong with tracking them. Put a QR code in your ad, in the brochure, wherever you want to do, okay? So that way you know when you go to an RV show and you hand out a bunch of stuff and you spend 8 hours and a couple $1,000s to pack up your booth and go down there and ship everything and stand there when you could be running your campground and doing something else, that it's worth your time. So, wrapping this up, avoiding these RV park advertising mistakes for your success, completely unscripted. Ask me to do another video like this next week, tomorrow, next 30 minutes. I'll probably do something completely different. But the fact of the matter remains the same. You've got to be educated. You can't just waste money. So, above all else, I guess, the number one thing, track. You have to be able to track. You have to be able to prove your ROI. If you can't prove that it's working, whatever you're advertising, you failed. Period. You failed. Like, cool, you run ads and all of a sudden your business increases. But are you sure that it came from the ads? Are you sure it wasn't seasonal? Are you sure it wasn't something else? There's no reason to guess. No. Figure out how to track it. The reservation companies can help you learn how to track it. They're not going to implement everything. They're not going to handhold you. That's what agencies do, right? That's what you pay us the money for, is to figure all this stuff out, to set it all up, to tell you about it, to educate you, to make sure that you understand that the money you spend is going to a good place. But that's a starting point. And if you're willing to learn, you can learn how to set up the tracking yourself. But you've got to be able to track. And then make sure you're monitoring, make sure you know what you're doing, like really, 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 really know what you're doing. And spend your money on Google first when it comes to digital advertising online, because that's intent. Then go with branding, and then figure out where it goes from there. The God's honest truth is if you're tracking your revenue, you're going to figure out the story is going to tell it itself, right? You're going to be able to look in Google Analytics and see, this is where my bookings are coming from. I want to spend more money here or less money there or more money here. It's going to tell you the story if you're tracking it. So track it. Advertising mistake. Hope you guys got some value out of this video. We'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys.